Hello viewers, welcome to another interesting edition of Point Blank. My name is Kizito Osimnobi Ibe. The emergence of PDP flag bearer in the next Nigerian general election, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, has been viewed with an overwhelming development. In some quarters, it has been said that it is the only candidacy of Abubakar that can wrestle power with the current incumbent president, Muhammadu Buhari. How did Abubakar Atiku emerge as PDP flag bearer? Why did the delegates change their mind at the dying minute to vote for him? These and many more we are going to discuss at this edition of Point Blank. To help us discuss these issues, I have with me in the studio the South-South PDP Zonal Women Leader, Chief Mrs. Tesi Ese Toru. She is also the Special Assistant on Education Monitoring to Delta State Governor. Chief Mrs., welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for the opportunity.
Also with me in the studio is the National Director, Mobilization and Contact Articulated Agenda 2019, Mr. Emeka Ndubisi. Emeka, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Mr. Kizito. Thank you very much.
Emeka, let me begin with you. What is Articulated Agenda all about?
Thank you very much, Mr. Kizito. Good afternoon, viewers. Articulated Agenda is actually a pro-group that was formed back in 2017 by Chief Dr. Emeka Kalu, who is the DG of the pro-group. This pro-group was formed because we looked at everything that was going on in the country, and we said it's about time we take a stance and form a support group that will actually support a candidate who will rescue the country from the mess we're in right now. So that was what happened. So we came up with the group, came up with the name Articulated Agenda 2019, and we are in virtually all the 36 states in Nigeria, and also in diaspora. We have chapters in Middle East, we have UK, they're very strong, we have Europe. So we have chapters everywhere, and they're doing very strong.
Before the formation of this articulated agenda, you guys had Atiku at mind before you get this pro group.
You know, we've been trying to figure out who are we going to support, because what we had as a government was not working.
Okay.
So we said this group has to come up with a plan to support a candidate that will fight strength to strength, dollar to dollar, everything to make sure that we restore power and take over the government from APC.
Okay. Mrs. Tesi, you're a woman leader.
Yes.
What role did the women play in the emergence of Atiku Abubakar election?
Thank you very much, and thank you, viewers. Women actually played a very vital role toward the emergence of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, in the sense that when we engaged him in Abuja sometime before the primaries, we put all the women leaders in the country and the zonal women leaders and other women under the PDP umbrella in Abuja.
Yeah.
So we engaged in the dialogue. Unfortunately, I was nominated to engage our principal, which is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president of our great country. Oh, we hope that by the grace of God, come 2019,
He will become the president of Nigeria.
God willing.
You say you people dialogue when you converge in Abuja.
Yeah.
What was the conclusion of dialogue? Any promise made to the women?
Yeah, I was coming to that.
Okay.
I was the one nominated to speak, fortunately on behalf of the women, to engage Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. Then I put before him some questions, very prominent among them. I asked him, what plans do you have for the women? And what arrangements are you making for us to have more women representation in parliament and in appointed positions?
And what was his
Because
response?
the issues of women are very dear to my heart. And he just took a deep breath and he paused and he laughed. And he responded quite frankly. I was really impressed, because he did promise us not to be worried, that he is a product of a woman, that his father died when he was a child. And upon the death of the father, the mother took on the mantle.
I'm trying him
Yeah. And that whatever he is today, give the credit
to the woman.
to the mother. For that singular fact and reason that the issues of women, the issue of 35%, that Nigeria as a nation gathered with more than 160 countries in Beijing in 1999 to affirm and declare the 35% of affirmative action for women,
Yeah.
of which Nigeria was a signatory to that declaration. And that
But the implementation of it in Nigeria is zero.
subsequent governments have not been, but during the last administration, that's the good luck Ibile Jonathan's presidency and what have you. Even before the demise of when he had the joint mandate, they tried to some extent to achieve reasonable aspects.
Mrs. I think I'm going to come back to that question. In fact, that's the next question I'm about to ask, because in one of his campaign promises, he promised to give 40% of seats to youths and women. But Emeka, okay, if he's going to give 40% of seats to women, and looking at his campaign team, how many members of the campaign team are below 40?
Currently, looking at the APCO, like the Article Presidential Campaign Organization, you will see a lot of young people working for him. So youths are very dear to him, just like Ms. Stacy said, women are dear to him.
Very dear to his heart.
Too. I was at Chatham House in April when he made that, he delivered a lecture about the economic growth of Africa and stuff like that. He talked about women at 5%, he talked about the youths. And one interesting thing that happened was when someone, I think a reporter asked him that a president of the country, referring to Buhari, said that the youths are lazy. They said, sir, do you agree with that statement? And he frankly said, no, I cannot agree to this statement. First of all, the fellow that made that statement has never been an employee of Level all his life. Article said that he employs youths. He knows their strength. He knows what they can do. So the issue of 40%, and I believe that he doesn't say what he cannot do.
Okay.
So he's going to make sure that he include women, youths in his cabinet. I'm very sure.
Okay, Ms. Stacy, the same inclusion of women and youth in his cabinet. What position in this campaign team, what top position did women hold in the campaign team? Let's start from there. Apart from the normal zonal women leader,
no. Women are well represented.
Yes.
Okay.
Even in terms of what is it called? Delegates representation. He placed a woman as the director there.
Yes.
To ascertain, to look into the issues of the delegates, because that election, that the primaries was keenly contested.
Yeah.
So he took a woman to see to the issues of the delegates, that's the ability to win more delegates, to vote delegates to his own.
Okay, there was allegation of vote buying during the primaries. Did he use women to
There was no issue of vote buying. That was a man who has structure around the 36 states of the country, including Abuja. So such a man with such popularity, I don't know where the vote buying.
Yeah.
Because the turn of events and the primaries, Atiku was like maybe, let's say, the third when they put it in hierarchy, but all of a sudden, the whole game changed. What really happened at that night?
I was agree with that.
That was
Atiku
the
has
wrong game.
been, Atiku has been
The number one.
frontliner.
Yes.
The problem about politics in Nigeria when it comes to primaries, which I'll take you back in January 16th, precisely, we went to his house in Abuja, in his residence. And that was the first time myself, Dr. Carlo, who is the DG of Articulated Agenda, and some other delegates from the north and south everywhere, we converged in his house. And we were talking about, trying to tell him to come out. By that time, nothing was going on. As at January, nothing was going on.
He has not made up his mind to...
He had just came back from his vacation. And we were the very first person he saw on the 16th of January. And we said, Oga, we need you to come out. Even if PDP will not give you a ticket, go somewhere. The masses are yearning for you to come and rescue the country. So one of the concerns he had, he said he's going to consider doing that. But then the primaries, because sometimes the primaries is not in your hand, as a candidate, it's not in your hands, the delegates, and they wanted to manipulate, they do that all the time. So he said, if you guys can make sure that you go out and
get the delegates.
Yes, that
he's ready.
So that was what happened, and that was his fear, and he has, to take it back to the question, he has been the frontliner. Everybody, every Nigerian was yearning for Elijah to come back.
Okay, I think one of the reasons to me that made Atiku Abubakar to win is his repeatedly promising to restructure Nigeria. And Emeka, if Atiku is to restructure Nigeria, if he becomes the next president of Nigeria come next year, May 2019, is it going to be a holistic approach or sectional restructuring?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. And when it comes to restructuring issues, I take it very seriously, and it's very dear to my heart, to coming from southeast region of the country. And also I take a man serious by his stance, his beliefs in life, not about empty promises.
Yes.
If you recall, since 2004, Atiku has been shouting restructuring, that what we need as a country is a restructured Nigeria, nothing else. Even while he was in APC, he was shouting restructuring. So what I want to say is restructuring is on his top list of things to do.
Okay.
And it's going to be a holistic approach. And one other thing he mentioned, when I say what he mentioned is not what I read in the paper.
It's what you witnessed.
Yes. He said the restructuring is what it's going to do is to give regions the opportunity to harness their potentials.
Like what we used to have before.
Yes.
When we have the 3 regions.
Yes, and what he said that most people would think, oh, it's going to favor a particular region. No. For example, take the north. They have a very big landmass, right? So if they are good in producing
granite,
so the structure will help them to focus on that,
develop
it, that can lead even to exportation.
Yes.
So that's the beauty of having a restructured country. So whatever you do, if it's making sure, if it's cultivating coconut or whatever it is, they give you what you need, you make it big for local consumption and for international.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Ms. Stacy, I know restructuring is what every Nigerian is yearning for. But do you think that the cogs in the wheel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They will allow such restructuring to perfectly take place?
Why? If you want the progress of our country, Nigeria, the only way to go is restructuring.
Yes.
Because take in the past, the cocoa pyramid and the granite, whatever, the cocoa and the granite pyramid, Nigeria was living on those produce at a time.
Yes.
Then there was no oil. But we were surviving on that as a nation.
Yes.
And again, the issue of minimum wage, Now the state said they cannot pay 30%, as been suggested by the labor union and all that. If you restructure Nigeria, every region will take care of whatever they can pay. They can even pay more than the 30%.
The federal government,
yes. So I think it's the best way to go. And I want to take you back to the election, the primaries. It was keenly contested, and Atiku won in the platter of gold. And I give kudos to my governor, the executive governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, who orchestrated that convention.
Yes.
He was the chairperson of that convention. And it was a free and fair process. It was thorough. There was no rancor. Nobody argued because the process was transparent. And Atiku won landslidely.
Yes.
Because everything was done in the open.
Yes.
I think we should give a PDP credit for primaries, because I think this is the only primaries held in Nigeria that nobody went to court, nobody raised. Even the governor of Rivers State, Wike, who was supporting Tambawa, openly had a press conference to say that since the party has made a choice, that he has no option than to.
The process was transparent.
Yes, and even it was done in his own backyard. Okay, still on restructuring, I think, can we use this word, true federalism?
We can, and it looks like is a synonym. Like, is either you call it restructuring or true federalism, or whatever you call it. But in a layman's terms,
it's restructuring. Okay, let's take, if we truly restructure, people have been also clamoring for state police or local police. Will it affect such agencies?
Okay, so the thing is, there are some things we cannot say for the
yes.
Like, they have a blueprint.
Of course.
I just came back from Dubai, he's putting finishing touches on the blueprint that will be released to Nigerians, and the caption is "Let's get Nigeria working again."
Yes.
And in that blueprint, it will have restructuring, and in restructuring is going to have wings, like legs,
everything, branches, anything that.
So it's going to be like policing, whatever it is that has to deal with restructuring will be embedded in the blueprint. So I would say in a couple of days or weeks, the bluept will be out there for Nigerians to see that this man really, really means business and that he's ready to get to work.
Okay, I know we're still talking about restructuring. He promised that he will run for one term. Do you think one term will be enough for him? Because Nigeria is pregnant with so much problem. Do you think 1 year will be enough for him to do all this one term? Yeah, will be enough for this restructuring and make it perfect?
Going by his own promise for running for one tenure, I think governance is a continuum.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So with the blueprint, already on ground, if nature has it all in, it decides not to rerun, I think the next person coming in will grab the blueprint and take off wherever he has.
But that's the problem in Nigeria. There's no continuity.
No, there is.
Somebody will come in after him now and they change the whole name.
No. I don't think so. Nigeria.
Or you are assuring that after Atiku, another PDP person will
I'm very sure. That's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that.
Okay.
Because once it's a party manifesto,
yes,
the other person comes in and
So, but at times in Nigeria, we don't see the party playing so much role when somebody wins election or direct, this is not what you promised. Why are you deviating from the laid-down policies of the party?
PDP is rebranded, if you know. Yep. I don't know whether you are aware that the party has been rebranded in every ramification. And
so we have a born-again PDP now, so to say. Okay, Ms. Stacy, Atiku's boss from 2003 to 2009, 2007.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Obasanjo, in one of the interviews he granted, said that God will not forgive him if he supports Atiku. But suddenly he endorsed him. What do you think happened in between?
OBJ,
Made him to
as
change.
popularly called and known in Nigeria.
Yeah.
OBJ, he has seen the green light ahead. He's now convinced. And going by what is happening, the antecedent in the country today, I think he's better convinced that Atiku will lead Nigeria to the promised land. Because Atiku is somebody who is grounded in all ramifications, whether in the area of commerce and industry, because he's somebody that can grow commerce, he can grow business. As you and I know, that government alone cannot provide all the jobs.
Yes.
You need the private sector to intervene
Yes.
and create jobs for the citizens. So Atiku has
The potential, the
Yeah.
ideas, the everything you can think of.
in the oil and gas industry is there, in the education business is there. It just
Agriculture,
is an all-rounder and he has the interest. Since he has the interest of youth and women at heart, development is sure. What we lack in our country is development.
Emeka, do you agree with what she said that Obasanjo may have changed his mind because I think there's no other candidate that can rescue Nigeria?
Yes, that could hold true because also the issue between Atiku, Vice President Atiku, and President Obasanjo is a boss-employee relationship which everybody have
Yeah.
issues, but then sometimes people make their decisions or their views, they change their views based on superior information.
Yeah.
They must have had something, a problem in the past. But I believe Obasanjo came to the realization that whatever thing that happened, he said if God can forgive him, who is he not to forgive another person?
Another person, yeah.
Yeah, but I gave it to him. I give him like a lot of respect for coming down and if you look at what happened that day, it was very historic. They had a lot of clergies from different and
denominations.
They came together and made peace, and everybody was good. So making that pronouncement, supporting Atiku at this time, I don't think is out of I give him credit for that.
Okay. Ms. Stacy, you are the special assistant to your state governor, Akoa, on education monitoring. So what initiatives, what have you monitored, and what are your observations?
Hey, you see, the issue of women leader, all of that is on the second, it's by the side.
Yeah.
My call, area of calling is on education.
Okay.
I run schools in Warrior and Port Harcourt, respectively, back home in Nigeria. So, and that was my primary appointment as a special assistant to His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. FinalCut. And since he came on board, I was quite impressed because all our technical schools were moribund.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when he came on board, barely 3 months when he came on board,
He revived them.
he revamped our technical schools. And we now have a lot of artisans and skilled
Acquisitions, yeah.
in our states. Like I told you before, government alone cannot provide all the job. We need individuals, the private sector to intervene. And our hands can. These hands that God has given to us, we can use it to skill
So many things.
and make fortune for ourselves.
Yes.
Because
And
you
you can never
cannot always depend on government for everything.
You cannot even get rich working for them,
Yes.
except you steal most of the time. But as a private entrepreneur, private,
If you become an employer of labor, you'll be able to determine so many faith and something comes to your pocket at the end of it.
You become a bourgeois.
Yes.
Without stealing, without being corrupt.
If you're using that word, bourgeois, means now that you have something to contribute.
Yes, there is something I want to add to that, just to bring it at the national level.
Yes.
That is article for you.
That's article for you.
He said that, just like Ms. Stacy said, government alone cannot do it. So article is proposing to have a university though.
Yeah.
He said in his university that they introduced entrepreneurship as a course.
Yeah, as a course.
So whatever course you're reading, engineering, music, whatever, you just do a course in entrepreneurship. So at the end of the day, when you graduate, you have something you can go and
whether there is a job or not, you already can start something on your own.
Yes. So, and that's one thing he's gonna do when he becomes the president in 2019. He's going to look at the syllabus and see how they can revamp the syllabus and inject entrepreneurship, because once you do that.
Okay, Mecca and Ms. Stacy, we're gonna go on break right now. Viewers, it has been article all the way. I have the National Director, Contacts and Mobilization, Mr. Emeka Ndubisi, and the PDP Zonal Women Leader, South, Chief Mrs. Stacy Eseturu, will be talking about the emergence of article and what we expect after the general election. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Thank
you.
Hello viewers, welcome back to Point Blank. My name remains Kizito Osimnobi Ibe. Before we went on break, Chief Mrs. Stacy was telling us about her position as Special Assistant to Delta State Governor on Education Monitoring. She explained to us what has been done there, that many youths now are learning skills to be on their own. Emeka made contributions, but Emeka, I want to come to you. Okay. You are the National Director, Contact and Mobilization, Articulated Agenda 2009. How has it been? What's your area of mobilization?
It's been really interesting for me as a Contact and Mobilization Director. My role is to make sure that we mobilize people. And it will interest you to know that there is no place that Elijah Atiku Abubakar went to during his consultation that articulated agenda was not there in their numbers. And that was my role, to make sure that we mobilize them, we get them their t-shirts, their hats, their transportation, everything. I was in charge of that. And that was a very big role that the DG conferred on me, and which I give credit to him, Dr. Emeka Carlo, for giving me that opportunity to serve in that capacity. And it's been going well, and we, like I said, we covered all the consultations in the whole states that Atiku visited.
Okay, before the primaries, there were more than 200 support groups, but the way articulated agenda is going, it's like you are not the what do they call it, the pivot that other support groups now stand. Because are they going to collapse other groups and they merge as one, or are they still going to operate on that level?
That is a very interesting question, and that talk has been going on in the APCO, Atiku Presidential Campaign Organization, which is the big umbrella. What they're trying to do right now is to collapse some of the support groups to stronger ones like Articulated Agenda. Just like you said, like I told you earlier, that we were the very first people that went to His Excellency
and appealed
to him to come out. So they know, people know, they know what we're doing, they know our capacity, and they know that having us as one of the core support groups that other group will collapse into, it will be a boost, and we'll get our objectives.
Okay. Ms. Stacy, on unemployment, though we have talked about it from state level, Atiku said that he will have fresh initiatives to tackle unemployment in Nigeria. Can you give us an insight of the initiatives where Nigerians will be expecting to see?
And like I told you that Atiku is business-oriented, going by his antecedents over the years. Even before he became the vice president, after he left the Copstones, he started growing business on his own. So he's full of all
Business ideas.
Yes, he's packed full. He has a wealth of knowledge and experience to take Nigeria from the dungeon that we are now to Eldorado. If given the cooperation by,
By Nigerians?
Yes, in governance, he cannot govern alone.
Yes.
It needs me, you, everybody
Together.
out there to cooperate and collaborate with all the business ideas he intends to roll out, which are already in the blueprint.
Okay, my concern in Nigerian situation is somebody at the top echelon will have all these brilliant, excellent ideas, but down the road, the middle class, those around surrounding him, like maybe ministers, DGs, they fail to implement these policies. How is he going to tackle those areas?
Thank you for that question. Atiku is a man that he's very diligent, and when it comes to things that concerns like economy and development and his job, he doesn't take it lightly. So he's a type of man that supervises things. He's not going to sit down and close his eyes. Like the blueprint we're talking about, he's reviewing them himself. It's not like, okay, I have this group that are doing it for me. No, he is right there.
It's focused.
To do it and make sure that this is what I want to...
before it goes out there. And also, one of the things that one of the problems we have in the country is, talking about the unemployment, is economic policies. Some of the economic policies we have in the country, they are very harsh.
Emeka, I'm going to come to the economy because he promised to revive the economy. But quickly, though I didn't plan to bring up this question, quickly it has become a routine. Any successful government or any incoming government in Nigeria, the first thing they will talk is corruption, trying to probe the previous administration, these people going after all this. Do you think Atiku will toe that line?
I'll tell you, he doesn't have time for that. His focus is on creating jobs and wealth for the country. So he doesn't have time to go and be chasing people like,
we spent 2 years probing people and nothing to show for it. Ms. Stacy, do you think any government who takes such steps it has no agenda at all? Because when you spend 2 years probing the former minister, probing the DG of this, and you're not even telling Nigerians this is the result, or even the money you have collected. So,
I think, thank you very much, I think Atiku will follow due process. Because he is not going to completely close his eyes and welcome,
when you do wrong.
And welcome corruption.
Yeah.
Or when you are going the negative way to undo his governance. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's going to follow due process. He is not going to be partisan. He's not going to be biased. He will not bring hatred and ethnicity into governance. He is going to be more pragmatic and take issues objectively. You understand what I'm saying?
Do you think he can scrap most of these agencies like EFCC or these anti-corruption agencies? Or
No.
are you going to straighten them?
Those
They actually
institutions,
started
those institutions were orchestrated by PDP's government.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not
Yes.
a new whatever.
But
the
they
way
need to
and
be-
manner.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's being run now.
Yes, yeah. The process has been bastardized.
So something needs to be done to make them look what they
where
they were
yes.
when it was created.
Like I do, there should be no bias. You should be very transparent, whatever you are doing. You don't use the media to castigate somebody that is corrupt or not corrupt. When it has not been proven in the court of law. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be more articulated as it's named. As the name
Okay, now, Emeka, before I cut you off, you were talking about the economic policies. Now, Atiku said he's going to revamp the economy. Yet, like you'll be talking about the blueprint. What are the roadmaps to revamp the economy of Nigeria? It's in shambles.
Yeah, it is. And the man we're talking about, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, he has done this before. He has dealt with economic situation in the country before. So he has all the experiences and wealth of knowledge to tackle this issue. And like I was trying to mention, most of the problem is about the policies. The policies drives the economy. So in Nigeria today, the policies this administration have in place is driving out investors. Everybody is leaving the country. People are going to Ghana,
yes,
other neighboring countries to go and have their businesses. So this administration doesn't have what it takes to revamp the economy. So Atiku Abubakar, remember, he chaired the economic council on whatever, and he assembled the best economic team, and we saw the result. There were jobs. So he's going to do it again. And now he had his VP, P2B, who is very, very, very sound.
Yeah.
You all know, like, what he did in Anambra State is
awesome,
like remarkable. So if you have somebody like that with other team members that he's going to pull together, I can't even wait to see how Nigeria is going to transform in the next couple of years, because it's doable.
Okay, I will still come back to you. Talking on the Atiku Obi ticket, Ms. Stacy, what's your view about that?
It's a very, very, very welcome development. Because if you look at the transformation in Anambra,
during Obi's
yes.
tenure.
Personally, I ventilate between Port Harcourt and Asaba.
Yes.
And I need to go through Owerri, Onitsha, before I get to Asaba, which is my state capital. In the past...
before I cut you, have they started the second Niger
Second Niger, I know when Atiku comes on board, they will actualize the second Niger.
Okay,
so that bridge is already
cracking.
Yeah, because the pressure on the bridge.
Okay, so the Atiku will be ticket.
Like I told you, thumbs up for the door because it's a good match, and they will remove Nigeria from where we find. If you look at the economic stratification today, Nigeria has gone down.
Yeah.
All-time low.
Unlike what it was during the last administration.
Yeah. So you think the duo of Atiku and Obi will really...
Obi is a businessman. Someone who can grow commerce, can grow business. Anybody that is business focused is the right persons we need now.
Yes.
To take Nigeria.
To reposition Nigeria.
Yes.
Okay, Emeka, when Obi was selected, there were some grudges from some PDP members from the Southeast. Then maybe they were not consulted, and why should Obi be considered as vice president? What's your take on that?
Yeah, that issue, the Southeast leaders, they felt they were not consulted, which they reserve the right to be consulted. they felt other groups were consulted and they were not. So if you're coming to take my daughter for marriage or for whatever, it would be nice to say, okay, see what we're trying to do. We're trying to take your son or your daughter or whatever. So I believe the whole thing was not, they did what they're supposed to do, to say, hey, we're here. You need to let us know what is going on. So, which the vice president acknowledged and told them that he will see them when he comes
But
back.
in your own thinking, do you think that Atiku have not consulted some people before picking on you?
In my own thinking, Atiku knew right from time. If you ask me,
Yes.
this is me, I don't know about. Back in April, when we went to London during that Chatham House lecture, Atiku was there. Atiku was there, P2B was there. So he was about the only governor, former or present, that attended that lecture. So me, like personally, it told me that he's seeing something in this guy,
Yes.
and he might consider him. So I don't know. That is me. That's my personal opinion about the whole
Do you have
thing.
anything?
We are human, nobody is perfect. We may have, considered some quarters and maybe rejected some other quarters.
Yes.
And the likes of the Deputy Senate President, Ike Ekweremadu, is a force to reckon with.
Yes.
As a party,
Yes.
going by its antecedents over the years in the Senate,
And the staunch membership of
the
BDP.
party and to stabilize the Senate with Saraki.
Saraki.
No, it has never happened in the history of Nigeria. When you have a Senate President that is in Party A, Deputy Senate President Party B.
No, I think mistakes. I think Asaraki was APC outside, PDP inside where he was.
I know, but you see, during the emergence of the 2015 election,
Yes,
he emerged as a senator
I know.
under the umbrella of APC.
APC, we know.
So whether you like it or not, he became an APC for 2014,
Yes.
prior to the 2015 election.
Okay.
So, but when they came on board,
They work like one family.
Uh-huh.
They had no disagreement.
even during all the rancor in the National Assembly,
They handled it with maturity.
Ekweremadu has stood firm
Yes.
to weather the storm, to hold the party. You get what I'm saying? I believe it was those traces Saraki saw in Ekweremadu that even expedited his defection to the party. And other issues he may not have,
Yeah. That would be a topic of discussion on next time. Okay.
And the good thing is, I think they have settled that everybody is on one page, they are harmonized, and we are working together.
Yes.
I think if the governor of Rivers State, Umuke, will hold a conference and said the party has made a choice and I have to support the choice of the party, who else will not do that?
Exactly.
Okay. One problem also we have in Nigeria has been service delivery. Like I said before, the top may be good, but when it gets to the bottom, the service delivery is always poor. And the article has promised us that he will run a lean government. The whole thing points down to, how are you going to do this? He said he monitors everything. Nigeria is 36 states. We have how many ministries? About 21 ministries or 36 ministries. We have the chief minister, we have a minister of state, and we have DGs, we have permanent secretaries, we have all these commissions and agencies. So what machinery?
So many parastatals.
Yes, so many parastatals. What machinery is he going to put in place to checkmate service delivery? That's a problem in Nigeria.
Yeah, that's a very valid problem, when you talk about service delivery. And just like you said, if the top is good, when it's trickling down, there might be problems.
Some bottlenecks.
Yes. So I believe strongly that in his blueprint or during his administration, because of his administration, there are going to be agencies that will checkmate all these. So that there will be
You know, Nigeria, we have too many agencies, we have too many commissions. Some of these commissions should be collapsed. We have a commission on culture and this. You have commission on the national orientation. You have, and we merge them today, like come to Federal Ministry of Information, Communication and National Orientation. They merge them today. Tomorrow they will break it up. This one become Minister of Culture. This one become Orientation. So we have so many commissions. Since you are Mobilization and Contact National Director, I know if Atiku wins tomorrow, your portfolio will change. Definitely, maybe since he promised 40% of it to youth, you are younger and you can be Minister of Information. So, yes, because when you get in there are so many things, flaws.
Yes.
Not only the top,
Yes.
the ministers, the parastatals, the agencies. Nobody is watching them. They do whatever they are. Every month, every quarter, they give them allocations. How do they account for these allocations? We know we have auditor generals, we have accountant generals. Maybe at the end, every 31st of December, they close the audit book. But there are so many things in between. How do we check it? The capital vote, some of them don't do anything. So how do they spend the capital vote? They only use the recurrent expenditure from January to pay salaries. But the capital vote, some of them didn't siphon somewhere. Somebody will supply a trailer load of office equipment, and it will not be accounted for. The way it comes into the ministry, the way it goes out. So these are the service delivery we are talking about. Some files go to me. I was a staff of Federal Ministry of Information before I came in here.
Okay.
Up to tomorrow, I don't know, up to today or tomorrow, if you go to the registry, the files are being kept in this 21st century.
Of ICT.
He said, we have a ICT, all these things need to be computerized.
Yes,
But every year there will be budget for it. What happened to the budget? Do you have anything to say on the service delivery?
It's just to have the right persons in the right
How do we find the right person?
place at the right time. You know, and if from time to time we have workshop, seminars, in-house training to train our personnel on the right perspective. You understand what I'm saying? I believe there will be improvements in the system, because most of them are not knowledgeable enough to even know what to do.
Exactly.
Yes, you are right. Because if you go to most ministries, you have, how can you be in an office and you have 3 clerks or 4 clerks? What are they doing? One computer can do all this, or one person can be in charge of this. You have cleaners, 5 in one office.
If you are saying that you want to let them off,
no, we're not letting them off. Like in your state now, you are training them to be skilled. So they should do something. The government should do something, because to me, I'm a Nigerian, yes, and I wish my country the best. I want somebody who will come in there and do something for the youth. Somebody will be in the office for 60 years. You should go.
Of course.
You know, ideas rule the world. And when you run out of ideas, I don't know what we'll be doing again.
There's nothing left.
You see, so we are not here to castigate expansion on anybody, but we are here to discuss how it's going to be well for our Nigeria, how it's going to be well for our people, and then generations to come. But, Emeka, there is this news making round that our next president, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, the Waziri of Adamawa,
yes,
will not step his feet into the soil of the United States of America because of some irregularities in business transactions and allegations. And to me, I would like say, how can we have a president who will not come to the United States of America, who America, we see it is the father of democracy. And if we are running democratic government and our president is not allowed to come in here, are we doing the right thing? So you articulated agenda, you are mobilization and contact. So what do you have to say about this? How true is the allegation?
Thank you for that question. And you call it an allegation, and that's what it is. And one thing about Nigerians is this: we are so gullible. we hear information and we take it and run. We don't want to, we take information at face value.
Yes.
So people said, oh, Atiku did this, Atiku did that. Atiku cannot come to the US. Everybody can have visa problem, administrative problem, just like he said. When he goes to embassy, they'll tell him that he has administrative issues with his visa. The allegation is not, they even said he was indicted in America. He was not indicted in any way.
Did he face any court?
No, no, so the thing is
That's
just...
media creation,
Yes,
like
so,
I said.
so I'm not going to dwell too much on this, but what I'm going to tell you and the viewers is that in the next couple of weeks, the Waziri of Adamawa,
Yeah.
the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar,
And the PDP flag bearer.
PDP flag bearer and the incoming President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria will be in the United States of America and talk to his people.
So you are just informing Nigerians here in America to get ready to welcome the next
Yes.
president.
Yes.
All things being equal.
Yes.
So is it coming under the platform of articulated agenda or?
He's coming in under the platform of, you know, he's a human being.
Yes.
He's coming, he's a flag bearer. He's going to meet
He wants to meet Nigerians.
Yeah, Nigerians and maybe meet the Black Caucus or whoever, this House of Rep, whoever is available to be, you know, seen, and maybe business people over here that are willing to do business with Nigeria, but they are limited because of the harsh economic policies in Nigeria. So he will probably have time to discuss with them, you know, Department of Commerce and all those departments, agencies that have interest, vested interest in Nigeria, but they cannot go because of the economic policies. So his coming here will be very strategic, and it will be to the benefit of the country.
Mr. Stacey, do you have anything to add to what he said?
Yeah, he's coming to articulate himself,
Yes.
to tell the people that he's the right person to be with, that the only person that can make a difference in our country, Nigeria. He's the only person that has an open door policy that will welcome all and sundry to come into the country and
Change things.
change the narratives and, you know.
Oh, okay, quickly, time is not on our side. Emeka, we have this diaspora bill passed into law. Many Nigerians living outside the shores of Nigeria have been asking, are we going to vote 2019 election? So I'm not in a position to answer that. Do you know whether that bill being passed, what is in place, whether we are going to vote from here come 2019 election?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, and also I know I didn't tell you, I am the special assistant to my governor, Dr. Piezi Ikpeazu, on diaspora matters. So
Your hands are full.
the issue of diaspora voting is been passed, but I'm not sure that diasporans will be able to vote come 2019. But the good news is that it's in the working.
Okay.
And by God's grace,
Atiku emergence will fast track it.
yes, and that's one thing that I would like diasporans to come up and, you know, have interface with him and ask him his plans. Because if he's there as the commander-in-chief, I know he doesn't make all the decisions, but there are some things that he can.
Yes,
So
overrule.
this one is on top of my list. Let's do
Yes,
this.
we
Let's
can do
make
it.
sure that
This thing is done.
diasporans, other countries, they have that you know, ability to
Vote.
vote from outside their
Yes.
shores. You know,
So why can't
why,
we?
yeah, exactly. So the good news is the bill is there, it's been passed, and maybe, I don't know if it's going second or third reading, whatever.
No, it is,
process.
it's become a law.
Yes, it's becoming. So the implementation will not be a problem under.
Okay, thank you so much. We are going to come to the end of this edition of Point Blank. I want to thank you, the National Director, Contacts and Mobilization Articulated Agenda, and Emeka Ndubisi, for making our time to come here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And the zonal PDP South-South women leader, and the special assistant to Delta State Governor, Chief Mrs. Stacy Esetoru. I want to thank you, and I hope that when next you visit here, you make a time to talk to us.
Yes, thank you.
Very viewers, here we come to the end of this week edition of Point Blank. Until next week, we are going to have another interesting program and a topic. My name is Kizito Osimnobi Ibe. Thanking you for watching.
Thank you, viewers.
Thank you, viewers.